Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Bogey Men Golf Podcast, and the first in our series of preview podcasts for the 2024 KPMG Women's Irish Open at Carton House on the Amatuer golf course. This coverage is brought to you in partnership with Sports Direct, who are proud premium partners of the 2024 KPMG Women's Irish Open. In this episode, I sat down with Kate Lanigan, Irish elite amateur golfer who played in the last two KPMG Women's Irish Opens at Dromore Castle. We spoke about her season of college golf playing for Maynooth, winning an event on the R&A Student Series and earning herself a place on the Arnold Palmer Cup in Lahinch this summer. This was a great conversation with Kate, who is one of Ireland's top female amateurs and is sure to do really good things this year at Carton House at the 2024 KPMG Women's Irish Open. Kate Lanigan, thank you very much for hopping on the podcast. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you very much for having me.
We've just had a busy enough morning running around Carton House, the Amatuer course, filming a bunch of videos for the upcoming KPMG Women's Irish Open. How was today's experience? Let's start with that.
It was really fun. Yeah, it was great to see the girls. Some of the games we had were great fun, and it brought out our competitive side, I think it's fair to say. Yeah.
So you played in the KPMG Women's Irish Open last year at Dromore Castle. Let's start off with that, because I guess since then it's been a very busy 12 months and a very successful 12 months for you. So how was that experience?
Yeah, it was amazing. I obviously was lucky enough to play the year before as well. Didn't have as good an experience, but I think that definitely was a bit of a learning curve for me. So I kind of knew what to expect going in. Just small things like the range, kind of clubhouse, even the course. So it was kind of the tail end of the season. I'd had a very good season. It was just really nice to have a good week. All my family, friends were down there, and yeah, it was one of the best weeks I've had in a long time.
Who were you paired with?
I played with a lovely girl called Paz Martha Sands. Well, yeah, the reason I say her is we ended up playing 3 rounds together.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, so we ended up actually being in a 2-ball for the first 2 rounds. The lady we were playing with fell sick. Hope it wasn't because of my golf, but she went in after 9 holes. So myself and Paz were paired for the first 3 rounds. We ended up being on the number as well, the same score. So we got paired into the Saturday, and she was so nice. She definitely helped me enjoy the experience, and her caddy. We had a great fun, kind of going around the whole time.
And then final round?
Final round, I was with Eleanor Givens, and you put me on the spot now. I forget the other player. Eleanor was from Scotland. Actually, I do remember her name, Chloe Williams. Yes.
Oh yes.
From Wales.
Yeah.
And she bombed the ball. It was like a ball striking exhibition. So had a lovely final round with those two.
How is it played in an event like that? Obviously, you've played in a number of big amateur events as well, but a professional event like that and a big event in Ireland like that is kind of a different beast.
Yeah, you say that, but it was kind of weird because there was so many amateurs playing. Like you were on the putting green, I was warming up with Sarah, then you see Beth at the range, and there was a lot of Golf Ireland people around. So it was really really nice. It wasn't kind of intimidating. I definitely was probably a bit overwhelmed the first year I played and let kind of the spectacle get to me a bit. So it was just a really enjoyable week, and as I said, like a lot of the amateurs did amazing, which I think just was a testament to Irish golf that week.
You've mentioned your amateur golf and your amateur career a fair bit now already. You're obviously studying and playing out of Maynooth, and you've had a very successful year. How has the Maynooth system been for the scholars?
It's been amazing. All down to Barry Fenley. He's been running operations there for a long time. Like I was very close to him there for my undergrad, and I was very lucky that he took me for my postgrad. And he runs an amazing program there. Obviously tries to kind of emulate the American side of things. Obviously we can't do it with weather and things like that, but we obviously have a very good tournament schedule now with the Student Tour Series, which kind of gives the scholars something to work towards. Maybe not everyone on the team has their Golf Ireland events, so I kind of had a jam-packed season in terms of the Golf Ireland events on top of the R&A student events. But yeah, we were in some amazing places. We also had 2 rounds of warm weather training thanks to Barry. Had a few qualifying rounds in there as well, so on top of all the access to the coaches, Noel Fox, Robbie Cannon, Johnny Foster, Donald Scott, we're spoilt.
For people that may not know the student series, could you explain what that is? We had Keelan Rafferty on. I was talking to him about. He was like a year or two before that set in, but he was singing its praises.
Yeah, so it was kind of up and coming then, and now it's really in full flow the last few years. So basically there's kind of 5 events starting in September. You'll have kind of 2 before Christmas, one in September, usually one in October. Different venues, it depends. Like last year we had one in Spain and one in Italy, and then we went on to the next season and we had one in Portugal, one in France, and then the final. So like some of the golf course we got to play the Golf National, obviously the final in St Andrews. So like some major venues, great experience to play those golf courses. And then the players as well are like the calibre of players I know on the women's side is very impressive. Like obviously Lorna McClymouth, and like Elise Fredrickson there won the St. Rule Trophy, so it's like really, really competitive. Emma has played in them as well, so just it like they're not a nothing event. You're going out and you have to play very, very well to win, so I think the standard has really improved.
Yeah, they're certainly not a nothing event, and you've won one of them as well this year. So
yeah,
you won over in Italy.
Won over in Italy, kind of unexpected. I went into the final round 7 shots back, which was interesting. So yeah, I had a good battle with one of the Swedish players, and was lucky enough to come down the last with kind of a 1-shot lead, and yeah, took my chance. I'd been waiting a few years, so wasn't going to let that one slip.
And you won the overall series as well.
Yes.
So
yeah.
I mean, you've glossed over like the highlights. You talked about there are a few like of the top players in it, but
yeah,
selling yourself short a little bit.
Well, it was funny. Like I obviously had my win in Italy, and then I had some very consistent performances. I had some 3rd places, I had 2 2nd places, and then yeah, it all came down to the final in St Andrews, and we had some
of the worst conditions I've seen in St Andrews.
Yeah, and it's definitely not something you want to cope with when you're, I suppose, trying to stay ahead. And I tried my best. Like I got some bad lies, some bad breaks, and yeah, I ended up winning by, I think it was 2.5 points in the end.
It doesn't matter. 2.5,
Yeah.
0.5 wins a win.
Yeah, they needed the calculators for that one. Yeah, but I was delighted. It was a great kind of testament, like, to be rewarded for consistency. Sometimes it goes a little bit unnoticed, and like as a player it's hard to keep getting 2nds and 3rds, but it was nice to obviously have the reward knowing that Palmer Cup was in Lahinch, bit of an added pressure, so it was nice to get over the line.
We're going to get into that because obviously Barry Fanley, he's the international head coach. You know him very, very well.
Yes.
At this point. When you talk about your second, you're getting like a couple of 2nds and a 3rd place there in the series. They all came after the win.
Yes.
So, are you like when you're in that stage of the season? And obviously, there's only 5 events, and before the final in St Andrews, is it a case of you're like, all right, cool, delighted with the points, happy to move on, or are you frustrated that you're like, we could have won 4 times this year?
Yeah, there is a bit of that, and like especially that's a very common occurrence with me. Like I had a runners up finish in Helen Home this year as well. Got a very unfortunate break on the 17th hole, and ended up losing by a shot or 2 there. So, and a few scratch cups, and you kind of just you don't really appreciate it when you win. So I think, though, it's like we obviously saw Rory there over the weekend. It's heartbreaking, but like as a golfer, it's so hard to win tournaments. So you just have to keep kind of collecting those 2nd and 3rds, and have the faith that eventually a few of the 1st places will start dropping. But yeah, you have to take the positives from them, I think.
What do you do to keep the faith?
A
kind of unfair question. I appreciate.
Yeah, well, I think Troon was definitely hard to take. I felt like I was doing kind of everything right, and just I got a very bad lie in a bunker and couldn't even go backwards. And you're kind of like, oh my god, that was the one. But it's golf. Like I took a day off, and then I was itching to get back at it. And it's just the way it is. I think we're all semi-addicted to it. And yeah, like had a few events, and it's kind of you've forgotten about it. And as I said, you just have to take the positives.
So you mentioned obviously Arnold Palmer Cup is coming up. It's in Lahinch this year. The R&A Student Series is very, very interesting, and it's for young kids looking to get into college, and maybe are afraid of going over to college over in the States. Maybe they're a bit more homebirds. The going to Maynooth or even some of the universities around Europe, this is an alternative route to get to professional golf if that's what you want to get to, or you're competing at high level golf. Particularly when it comes to the Arnold Palmer Cup, because there are no allocated spots for the teams, except for via the student series. And like there's 4 Irish in the team. 2 of the Irish on the team have got those spots through the R&A series. Yourself and Ryan Griffin. Yeah. You must be thrilled.
Yeah, no, I think it's right. I think it's a nice reward for us. Like it is obviously tougher being at home. Maybe don't have access to the weather and the facilities. And just in terms of like you might be grinding it out on a links course in March, whereas maybe the Americans have, I suppose, better venues, better weather, but I don't think we're at a disadvantage at all. And I think when they kind of prioritize that spot, I think it's lovely, and I do appreciate it. And it just goes to show like Ryan's back to back now, and like Maynooth have had an awesome run of people being on the team. And I know Chloe Ryan also played when she was in UCD, so I think it's a nice reward, and it's kind of it's well deserved. Albeit I might know many people on the team apart from the Irish, but yeah, as I said, it's a good incentive to keep playing golf, kind of stay at home and play in Ireland.
But you're saying you won't know a huge amount of the team. The 4 Irish of the 12, it's a pretty big contingent. It's by far the highest representation.
I'm sure our personalities will make up for it as well. But no, I know, like I've met a lot of the girls before at different tournaments, like some major names. So yeah, really looking forward to it.
Have you been able to draw or give attention to the Palmer Cup yet? Because obviously you've just finished in Woodbrook at the Irish Women's Amateur. You've got Portmarnock coming up now for the Women's Amateur Major Championship. That's so exciting.
It is, yeah. And honestly, like everyone keeps asking about event, and it's like maybe 1 or 2 down the line, and I don't even know what day of the week it is. So it very much is you have to take them off, and like I'll close my eyes and it'll be the end of August and everything will have flown by. So you really just have to, I suppose, take each day as it comes. And like I even went off social media there for a while before Woodbrook. I just because there was so much information from all the different events, and you're just like, I'm actually just in Woodbrook right now. So that worked. Played nicely in Woodbrook, and now we're kind of moving on to Portmarnock for Women's Am. The gear arrived for Palmer Cup, but I didn't. I opened it, tried it on, and it's there. So I'll deal with that after Women's Am. But yeah, it's a very exciting few weeks coming up, and I think it's kind of a few weeks that can kind of change the trajectory of your summer if you do quite well. So it's good to put in a few good performances.
You said a lot there, and that's very interesting. It sounds like you're very aware of the magnitude of these next, we'll call it 14 days. Yes,
yeah, and I think for me, social media was just a bit of a distraction, just in terms of there was too much golf. As I said, it's so busy, so you're practicing, everyone's talking about it, my family are talking about it, everyone I meet in the golf club, so I just wanted a little bit of a break. But
so doing a podcast about it is definitely helpful.
No, I re-downloaded it there after Woodbrook, so I lasted a few weeks. But yeah, it was just nice to clear the head, and when I wasn't practicing, I was just kind of taking a break.
How do you handle knowing that obviously it's a very busy season, busy summer? How do you try and not get away from it? Obviously, downloading or getting rid of Instagram is a part of that. But when you have your mum and your dad cooking dinner and be like, so it's only 9 days away. You're just like, guys, come on.
Yeah, I know. Well, they're not the worst. They're probably the people that keep me grounded the most. My mum and dad have always been very, very easy breezy. My dad just loves to come out and watch the golf. He doesn't really care about the outcome. So I have been blessed there. I just make sure, and I suppose go see my friends, go out and see Luke, my boyfriend, and I suppose just walk the dogs, literally small things. And yeah, because we do so much practice, it's very easy to become kind of consumed by golf.
You're also a member in Portmarnock then, so I imagine you've got to spend a fair bit of time practicing. How is it playing?
Hard. extremely difficult in terms of the actual course is hard underfoot, which is always kind of a trait of Portmarnock, firm and bouncy, and just the overall conditions. The rough is up. We've been out there a few times with Donal and the HP team. Obviously, I suppose it shows you what sort of shots you need to work on. But yeah, incredibly difficult.
A funny thing that I noticed today with yourself, Beth and Sarah, was that you'd all spoken about cranking your drivers down for ball flight. That's interesting considering how hard and fiery you were saying Portmarnock is playing.
Yeah.
It's brave, I thought.
Yeah, well, for me, I actually need to crank it the other way. I struggle with carry, but I suppose Sarah and Beth are used to kind of just I suppose carry and stopping. So yeah, they're trying to get the most there. If we get a windy day or two, you'll definitely want a lower ball flight, and I suppose you're not too worried about the distance. You're just trying to be on the short grass, I think, there.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm sure it'll take them no time to get back into their old ways, stingers and things like that. But yeah, you definitely need a low ball around there.
How I know that it's funny. I'm asking you all these questions off the back of you saying you're not going to look ahead to Palmer Cup or anything, but it's a quick turnaround from women's amateur straight into, like, it's pretty much straight into Lahinch. That's a tight enough turnaround, tough enough turnaround.
Yeah, it is. It's funny though. It can be like. It can be a very, very short week, and it can be a very, very long week. And it's one of those things you don't know. You obviously are planning for it to be a long week, but it's such a huge field, and only the top 64 qualify for the match play. So it's really just getting through the match play, and then getting through the stroke play, and then hopefully having a run. So it's hard to tell. Obviously, I hope I'm there, and I hope it's a very, very quick turnaround. But regardless, I suppose, yeah, energy levels will definitely have to be managed. But it's good to, I suppose, come from links, and then obviously going to Lahinch is links again. So at least you're kind of in that
you're in that zone,
the groove of things. Yeah,
for sure. You were saying obviously you're doing a masters in Maynooth, and Barry Fennelly is the head coach there. Are you in touch with them often, regularly enough, just to kind of just see how things are going?
Oh yeah, he's been great. Yeah, we actually went down there last week.
Oh, nice.
He collected me at 5:55 a.m. and we went down for a 9:30 tea time. And he played as well, and I was very, very impressed. It's fair to say. And we also played with Sinead Sexton. She came out, and huge amount of local knowledge there. And yeah, the course is playing lovely. Always love playing Lahinch.
I know that, like, obviously you haven't played in the team yet, but to have been selected and to have earned your way into that team, what does it mean?
I don't think it's actually probably sunk in just yet. I think sort of when you go through the opening ceremony, when you see all the players there, and I think as well when I'm on the course and I see the support, it'll definitely sink in. Usually it sinks in after, actually, but no, it means a lot, and it's amazing to play one in Ireland. I think that's very, very special.
Yeah. Are you goals based at all? Like what like some players like to set goals for what they want to do over the season or over their playing career. Is that you at all, or how do you work?
Kind of, like I'll set broad goals. Kind of like I always like to make progress and tick off. Like I've obviously had the privilege of playing on Irish teams at girls level and at women's level, and I think Palmer Cup is an extra achievement on top of that for me. So in term, and I obviously had a win this season, so the kind of two ticks there. But I wouldn't be too focused. Golf is a funny sport. There's ups and downs. But I always like to kind of feel like I've made progress, whether it be achievements wise or just in the game.
Sure. What do you do in your masters in?
Finance.
Very good. You were obviously spent time with Beth, with Sarah. You obviously grew up and know like Laura Walsh and a few of them very well. Turning professional now, there's a great cohort of women turning professional and on the verge of turning professional.
Yes.
Is that something that's on the horizon for yourself?
I'll be honest, no. It's not for me. And I kind of knew for a while it wasn't for me. As you said earlier, like I'm a home bird, as much as I hate to admit it, and like I like to take a break from the golf, and the academics, like the masters, takes me away from it, and albeit it's quite challenging at times, and I regret my choices, but I think that balance will always need to be there for me. So I'd love to balance a career and still play these events and see if I can get to the top of amateur golf. So at the moment, no, but as I say, like there's certain things that you can achieve, like Women's Am next week is a super thing that could change the trajectory of your golfing career, but for me at the moment, no.
That's a very mature decision, a very mature way to look at it for all of 23.
Yeah.
The Irish amateur scene then this year, it's a very busy season kind of across the board. There's still the Irish Women's Close over in Roscommon, and then there's the KPMG Women's Irish Open, kind of toward the tail end of the summer season, we'll call it.
Yes. We're
here at Carton House. We've been on the course at O'Mara. You're a member here. If I'm a betting man, I'm probably going to say it's very likely you're going to be in the field. What would it mean to do 3 for 3?
Yeah, no, it would mean a lot. Fingers crossed. Like Carton have looked after me for the last few years. I've represented them at Senior Cup and Senior Foursomes, and there's a lovely ladies club here. So yeah, it would mean a lot. Played my junior golf here as well. They've got some great programs for the junior girls and the junior boys, and yeah, the golf course is amazing. So fingers crossed there's someone pulling for me.
Like I said, if it's probably not the craziest bet to think that you will be in the field. Listen, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. It was great to spend this morning with you filming. Really good to have the chat. Good luck now over the next 2 weeks, 2 months.
Yeah.
You've got a busy one. Enjoy it.
Thank you very much, Johnny.
On the tee, Jack Nicklaus.
This is the minute that millions around the world have waited for.
We will allow you to enjoy all of this. They are dancing in the pubs of Dublin. Harrington with an ace.
And we have a shining star at sunset. Rory continues his run to greatness.
The return to glory.